Hey guys, welcome back to episode number 3 of the unofficial Illuvium podcast. Me and Seaton back at it again. We have had a bit of a hiatus from the podcast just because Seaton's been too busy degen trading. We actually did try and come on and do this about 3 or 4 days. No, what was it, like 5 days ago? We ended up chatting for 2 hours and then Seaton had to go to bed.
I think we tried like every day for like 2 months now.
Yeah.
We just get talking and we just don't hit that record button.
We forgot to record. So today it's happening.
No, it feels good to be back, dude. We've got, so much to talk about. It's been, literally about 8 weeks now since we sat down for a little bit of a discussion on everything that's going on in the world of Illuvium, and a lot's happened in that time, but also like nothing has happened at the same time. It's like a mix of both.
It is. It's been steady upwards though. And just so everyone knows, if Seaton's got a semi at the moment because he's watching the Bitcoin chart in the background, and at the time of recording, it snuck above 64,000 just before this. So Seaton's a bit on edge. He's a bit hyped. He's a bit excited. So just in case something happens, you know why.
I'm very excited, man. I'm super excited. I want to see that all-time high. I want to see that frenzied bull market, straight into Illuvium gameplay trailer, straight into land sale, straight into $20,000 Illuvium. That's the Illuvium that keeps me going.
And that's always not financial advice.
No, please don't listen to us.
Yeah, we're stupid. Do not like. I can't trade to save my life. Seaton's doing all right, but still don't listen to him because he's an idiot. So that's pretty much all there is.
I just get stupidly lucky for some reason.
But so kick it off. How are you feeling about Illuvium? Like, what's your vibe?
Oh gosh, I really like that they're using their money to hire developers and not airdrop themselves $900,000. So I'm feeling pretty good. Like honestly, I love it. I feel like, if you're interested in Illuvium, you've got to be in the Discord because every single day there are so many leaks, and I feel like we're really involved in the development process, just being in that Discord, like anybody that joins it, because you'll literally get about like 50 models of plants a day from Von Neumann, and you'll be like, these fucking plants, man, these are the best plants I've ever seen. And you just buy more Illuvium. That's
100%
how it goes at the moment. But I'm feeling pretty good. I like that they're hiring. I like that they've got, they're continually expanding the team. They're clearly making some really good progress. It just seems like a lot is happening behind the scenes at the moment, and they're focusing on what they need to do, which is build a really good game, because that is what the market is missing currently.
100%. I think they'll all take a bit of a breather once the trailer's out. I know Von Neumann's been locked away for a fair bit of time now, just working his face off in general. And like, and how you feeling? You still feeling positive about it? Like you're staking. How you feeling when you open up your staking page every day, mate?
I'm feeling pretty good. The staking's juicy, man. It's just like when you look at any other crypto gaming investment, like, and there's like not that staking as well. It's just like it's hard to really get excited about like anything else.
It feels like at the moment it's like, because none of the games are out, it's like the staking is the only game to look at when you're like when you're sort of getting into it. Like, and Illuvium's got a pretty fun staking game, so that's pretty much where it's at. But
yeah, man, I'm just fantasizing about like whaling out and putting far too much money into this game. So I'm looking forward.
So with the talk of staking, land coming up, what's your vibe on land?
We've had a bit of a chat about this, and I personally am like, I'm gonna get some land, but I'm not like that excited for it, just due to the fact, at least to the best of my understanding, everything that I've researched so far, it seems like you're gonna need to play it. It's a mobile game, kind of town builder. You set up your base, you're gonna do some farming or some stuff within it. Apparently it's gonna be about 30 to 60 minutes. And you're going to get some passive income. Well, not passive income. It's more like manual income, because you still got to play this like Farmville type game. I think there are cosmetic blueprints as well. And I think that's about it. I don't think any of the resources from land you actually directly send to the game, aside from blueprints themselves. But the thing is, like, I don't really want to play like the mobile land game. I want to play the actual game Illuvium. Like the that's what excites me. I don't want to be spending 30 to 60 minutes a day in this mobile game, especially if it's like, I could go super bullish and get like 10, 20 pieces of land, but am I going to need to manage them all for like 30 minutes a day? It doesn't really excite me that much. So I don't know if there's anything else I'm missing. I think there's like passive revenue distribution for land, and I think depending on the price, again, it could be something good to get. But I'm more excited about the gameplay trailer at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think with land, I think there's like we're still waiting to have a lot of stuff confirmed on all the processes and stuff. But I think for me, land personally, because I'm not staked as heavy as you, I'm the same. I'm more focused on the game, so I don't really want to use what I have to buy land if it's going to impact the amount of time I can spending money in the game. So and it's definitely that aspect of the land's going to be exciting when it comes because it's something to do, but it's like, will that just take away from my time playing the game when it actually comes out? Having said that, I have spoken to some people who are like, I'm not actually too keen on the gameplay of Illuvium. I just in it for an investment, but I like the city builder thing, so they might go into that. But I'm definitely more about the game, so I'm probably actually going to skip land personally, altogether, and just wait for, because like it becomes sort of just like, I mean, you don't know the ROI. It's hard to calculate things on land as well when it's like, we don't know how much it's going to go for because it's that Dutch auction. You don't know exactly how much you're going to generate. So it's a lot of guesswork involved. All I know is I just hope that land goes expensive as fuck so that we can get that juicy revenue distribution. That's all I care about personally.
100%. I think in comparison to like other games land as well, it does offer an equal amount, if not more. I think for a land system, it's just like, personally, like as somebody who's very interested in playing games, I'm just not that fussed about it, I find. But again, it could be like a crazy ROI in terms of investment, and we see, pieces of land in games like Treeverse go for like, $10,000 plus. So even the lowest piece of land could still make a crazy amount of profit. And the fact that you can use SILV, which people can still buy at like a 50% discount on Uniswap in the liquidity pool there, or you get it from staking rewards. I think there's going to be a huge financial reward for people that have remained staking in terms of land. Again, as you said, it's hard to figure out the return on investment and exactly what you're going to get. But also, it's like one of those things to weigh up. Like, when the land sale comes, Illuvium and that value of SILV might be $1,500, $2,000, and you might get a piece of land that you can buy for like 2K and sells for 4K like a week or a month later. But then also, by the same merit, Illuvium could come out next March. Everybody goes mega bullish on it because it looks amazing and it's the best game. And that SILV that you spent, you bought land for 1.5K is now 6K in terms of, because it's always weighted to the price of Illuvium.
Yeah.
So it's like but it's good, I guess.
It's an endless game. It's an endless mind loop that you can go in with any of this stuff, 100%. And trailer, you getting excited? We're thinking end of the month is the time. They haven't officially said anything, but that's what we're looking at. Are you excited? Like pumped?
I'm really, really excited for the trailer. Like those, what was it, like 14 seconds that we got? Those 3 clips a couple of weeks back. Like I went crazy, dude. Like I saw it, I was like, fuck yes, man. Like just immediately to myself, I was like, this looks amazing. This is like so good. And it's like actual in-game footage as well. I remember that shot of like all the Illuvials on the in kind of the beach area is like one of my favorite ones. It hit that like sweet spot of like Pokemon nostalgia for me. Where I thought of like the first Pokemon movie where all the Pokemon are kind of like on the battlefield in Mewtwo's.
Have you seen the have you seen the remastered version of that? They did like a remastered version.
No,
you should check it out. Not too bad. It's just good.
I need to. I love that.
Good nostalgia, but modern. But yeah, 100%. Like the leaks are sick. I just can't wait for this trailer. I just feel like once the trailer comes out, then it's gonna roll really quickly, because I feel like at the moment they're trying to sort of contain it a little bit. Like obviously Von Neumann goes ham with his leaks, but they're trying to contain how much they show us. But I feel like once that trailer comes out, that's like that's like them wanting to present the project in the right light. And then after that, I feel like we can get into some more nitty gritty stuff that hopefully, the beta comes through. We still don't know what they're planning on with the beta, whether they're going to release stuff. But even if they don't let anyone put footage out of the beta, I assume that they'll probably put some stuff out strategically themselves of gameplay and stuff like that. And I think we're just going to get into that phase of trailer. Then it becomes a lot more open, and then obviously roll into the land sale, Illuvatars, and then we get launch.
I think you're 100% correct there. I think there's a lot of stuff that they have, but they're trying to not show until they've got it all kind of polished and they have like this first debut thing. And then we're going to see a lot more crazy leaks on kind of a weekly basis. On Discord as well. So yeah, I'm pumped for it, dude. I think we're entering like a very, very exciting time where everything is like so close now. We've waited a couple of months, but they still got a lot of work to do, but it's going to be building up exponentially in terms of the excitement and interest. And I hope that the land sale is just going to break records and just be like this incredibly bullish, exciting event where hopefully some of this tier 5 land, the esports stadium, is at least going to rank in like the top 5 NFT sales ever. That would be like the craziest thing for Illuvium.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping some mega whales step in and we get like a 10 million plus sale on that one, because there are there are many big individuals, companies that could front that kind of money and also get a good return on investment if they plan on investing in the project for a long term and buying an esports stadium to run tournaments and do promotional stuff and all sorts.
Yeah.
It's a crazy world, crypto.
And tied into your watching of the Bitcoin, like if we break all-time high and Bitcoin goes on a run, like it could even inflate the price of land further if everyone's feeling bullish as fuck.
Dude, like there's a lot of stuff that could kind of cross into the next like couple of months that just could be a little bit ridiculous. I think we're going to see the biggest stuff potentially make some moves, hopefully, and some pretty significant moves. Fingers crossed, touch wood. And then if Bitcoin and ETH go up a country mile, then all the big large cap coins are going to pump, and then I think we kind of fall under the the smaller cap stuff to a certain extent, and also the more interesting NFT based gambles as well. I think toward the end of this bull market, see some ridiculous figures, and then I think we're going to come down a bit, and then I think Illuvium launches and go up. So who knows?
Yeah, but like the cool thing for me to watch, I definitely think is like obviously if Bitcoin goes ham, it's going to be good for the market in general. Like it's going to be promising, but then like as the I don't know shit about trading, but if the bull market ends sort of next year, at least then the game will be out. And then I feel like it's just like I don't give a shit about the markets at all. Like I only look at markets at the moment because I don't have a game to play. Once the game's out, I just don't care. I'm just going to play the game, and that's all I really care about. So like, and that's pretty much the gist that I'm looking at. But now this is something I want to get your opinion on. Do you think we will get Illuvium in virtual reality at some stage?
Oh gosh. I think it would look great in virtual reality.
Now, the reason I go on this little this little tangent is because I've been watching what Kieran's been getting involved in. We obviously had the deathroad.io, the car collaboration with the cars.
Those are great, man. Those look really good.
And they're looking at progressing into virtual reality. Kieran, I believe it's Kieran personally, is invested in Planet Sandbox, which is a shooter that is looking at doing virtual reality. And then they just had a Twitter space with what was the one? Jesus, I can't remember the name of it. I gotta look it up, except it's in Discord and I've got your screen from Discord. Anyway, it was the one they had the Twitter space with a few days ago where they're building like the entry level, and they've built an Illuvium tower in that, and that's looking towards virtual reality. I can't remember that. I can't.
I don't know its name.
I'm in their Discord, but I can't open it up because I got your screen here. But like those three things I've just been looking at. I'm like piecing it together, and I'm like, it feels like Kieran, like in specific, more he's like trying to get in that space and learn more about the get in the circles of the VR, which I think would be really sick if, you know, a few years down the road we could enter into that VR thing. Especially for me, because like, I mean, I've been playing Pokemon Go recently with my son, and I just love walking around like that. Even just augmented reality is wicked for me, especially when you've got a collector. But do you reckon that could be a possibility moving forward?
I don't. The only thing I know about VR at the moment is my experience with like the Oculus Quest 2. Have you played on an Oculus Quest?
Yeah.
Amazing, fantastic technology. But one thing that worries me is that's very gated by like Facebook, because they brought out Oculus, and I don't know much about the Vive or its limitations. Vive, I think, associated with Steam, or am I correct on that?
Let's not even talk about Steam anymore. They're extinct, aren't they?
No, we all love Blockbuster. But yeah, it's like my only thing is I think VR technology has become, I think, a bit walled, but I may be incorrect. I'm not the most on the ball with VR stuff. I just know that I've got an Oculus, and that's completely gate kept by Facebook, and you know, but we'll see what happens there, I guess. But it would be amazing. Like honestly, I'm all for that. I think it would be also a style of game where it would actually work really well, because you've essentially got kind of your placement and timing, and those are the two important things, and thinking about your strategy. So I imagine with the hand controllers,
see,
the whole operation.
I'm leaning more into the open world side of things as well. Like that sort of exploration would be really fun in a virtual reality type scenario.
No, definitely.
Okay, and where I wanted to go on to from that, if you haven't checked Seaton's channel out, yesterday he made a cracker video talking about metaverse, because metaverse has become one of those words that it's like the metaverse in the metaverse in the metaverse. This is more of a broader question, but like, what do you see the metaverse as, and how do you see Illuvium in said metaverse?
Well, currently, I see the metaverse as a marketing buzzword that's just absolutely everywhere. But I don't know. It's so hard to think, because there's not like one. I think the goal is that eventually there'll be one universal metaverse. But I think with current technological limitations, there'll be stuff like the Illuvium metaverse, and you know, it's kind of having the world of Illuvium, but then, you know, maybe there's like a Bored Ape area or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't think Illuvium's really striving to be a metaverse game.
No, which I like. They're building they're building the game without getting caught in that, because I feel like no one releases a game without talking about their metaverse, and it's like, motherfuckers, can we just build a game first and get that out and then go from there? Like that's all I want. So. And it's really interesting to see it all develop, because like obviously like when you go to the Ready Player One type scenario where, you know, you feel like there'll be that one, the way I see when I think metaverse is like the one world that's like the hub to go into all the different gaming worlds, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it's like a base station where you'll go, but then I feel like everyone wants to create the base station as well. So I just don't know where it's going to go, but I think it's going to be interesting, and I just hope that the word gets meaning again, because it sounded so cool at the start, the word metaverse, and now it's just a throwaway word. It's like, oh, you're building a game. Oh, so you're building a metaverse too? Okay.
Not building a game, we're building a metaverse. It's a metaverse experience.
100%.
It's just like what the space needs to focus on right now is making good game, because we don't have crypto gaming isn't crypto gaming unless there are tons of fucking amazing games, and we can be like, yes, we've made all these amazing games that are far better than everything else there, on equal quality, but also you own all your stuff, and you can, you know, earn money, you can like trade stuff, you can sell it, you can rent it out. There's all these different crazy things going on that are made possible by a player-driven economy. And also, there's not some sort of centralized authority like Steam, Apple, or Google taking 30% of all the developers' money.
Hey, you're just paying fucking $180 gas to make a transaction.
Oh well, hopefully that.
100%, dude. But with that, like when we look at, and I think when you talk about that, we just need good games. I think like, and there's going to be such a wide range of good games. Obviously, we're really excited about Illuvium, but you know, we're also looking at things like Guild of Guardians, Big Time as well, those type of games, and like something like Big Time as well. I think has a great chance. Like it's a completely different
Yeah.
model where it's like that full free to play, just skins being transferred. They're going to be able to do everything in feed. I'm pretty sure. It's like it's like a different level of it. What's your view on the makeup of what Illuvium's aiming for with their sort of free to play versus pay to play versus earnings and all that sort of stuff?
I think we talked about this a bit, and I think my biggest concern about Illuvium overall, if it really wants to reach the mass market, is I don't think that they're actually building a proper free to play experience, despite advertising the game as free to play. I feel like they're just building a very basic demo. That's my biggest concern because I haven't really seen anything that convinces me that they really care about attracting a wider free to play market. And I think for the growth of the community and the long term sustainability of the game, that's actually really important that there's an actual game to play for people that don't want to spend money. And I understand in crypto, this is a very hard thing because you can't give away valuable assets um, under two criteria: infinite. I think it's just like infinite time or infinite accounts because there are ways it can be exploited. If you do like a daily login calendar, it's 30 days login, you get something rare. Somebody can create like 10,000 accounts and just sell all those.
Yeah.
And time wise, it's like if somebody can grind for 1,000 hours, we're either going to see massive bots or sweatshops. So the free to play progression needs to be limited and based off skill. There needs to be a way to kind of like work your way up the ladder. We need stuff like ranked, or we need kind of like basic let's say like common Illuvials, because at the moment I think the plan is that free to play can only get tier 0, but tier 0 like aren't really characters. Like they're these little, they're not like the proper collection of 150. I may be incorrect on that, or they're just like a few of one of each element or anything.
Yeah, I believe there's going to be like 5. I don't think they're going to be throwaway. I think the tier zeros are still going to be proper Illuvials, part of the decks. But I think, and the cool thing for me is like, no matter what they do, as long as they just get the game out, we got to remember we're releasing into a beta, an open beta. So it's not like their official launch where they're going to try and drive all the traction. So it's like they will have time to iterate on the progression of it. But I think you and me both coming from the mobile gaming space, where it's a bit different because when you've got earning capacity in a game, I feel like the free to play doesn't get thought of as much. But in the mobile gaming space, you've really got to satisfy the free to play audience. Because it's like a pyramid. You need this base of all these free-to-play scum for them. And that's for the reference. I'm normally the free-to-play in games, and Seaton is the illustrious whale on top of the pyramid. But like me and all my free-to-play scum, we have to sit there and hold Seaton up. So without, it's a good analogy. Come on, give me a break. But in seriousness, like without that base of a good free to play, basically community that drives the game forward, then there's nothing for the whales to stand on top of. So there's no point in whaling. So like you need a combination of both. And I definitely think it'll be interesting to see how they progress in the free to play, because I 100% get that in play to earn, like in Illuvium, for instance, like it's like, yes, but you can just spend money and then sell those things and make money off of that and keep that progression cycle. But then I also consider you're going to have like 13, 14, 15-year-old kids getting into it who might just want to play the game and have fun in the game without setting up a wallet and having to play the market and deal with real money. So in that sense, it's like if there's a fun loop for them to play in, in the free-to-play space, it grows that community and then can progress the rest of the game because it attracts more people and keeps them in. And I'm a big one that for the people that want to be free to play, I feel like if you're having lots of fun free to play and feeling like you're progressing in some sense, it's more likely to make you spend money than if you're like frustrated because you get into the game, you're like, I can't do anything. And then I feel like you're less likely to spend money if you're not having fun. That's just my personal. I'd love to see some statistics on it, but don't unquantified assessment there. But that's just how I feel personally. But having said that, we don't know how they're actually going to go about the free to play side of things because it is just a big, interesting world when we're in like the complete early days of play to earn and that integration of free to play. And I think one game is going to figure it out eventually. And like then it's going to like completely make sense and everyone's brains are going to click and go, okay, that's how you implement it properly. But like at the moment we're in a test phase. So it'd be interesting to see how Illuvium implement it.
No, it's definitely true. Axie doesn't have a free-to-play model and they're still at like a 9 billion market cap. But it's more thinking if we want to see like that 50 to 100 trillion dollars and like these massive esports tournaments with like hundreds of thousands of people watching. Again, it's just important that people can kind of like jump on and have that experience. And I'm not too sure if it's like a different mode of gameplay that kind of stems out. Hearthstone, the game that I play, has a mode of gameplay called Battlegrounds, which is completely free to play, completely no money involved at all. But that also gets a lot of people interested in kind of the other modes of gameplay and stuff. But specifically for Illuvium, one thing I was thinking about, because I'm just worried that there's only going to be, I think, like 6 tier 0 Illuvials, and that the free to play experience is going to be a little bit dry. That I think one really good thing that they could do is have, let's say there are 150 Illuvials, and you've got your 3 tiers of evolution. For the first tier, so the very basic ones have like basically like common versions which are free to play. They're not even maybe they're NFTs, but they can't be like evolved, and they can't access any mode of gameplay that actually allows you to earn revenue. So these would be something that free to play would need to grind for. But then there's also a separate mode of gameplay that allows them to go in and fight against each other just with these common Illuvials, where it's they don't have the ranked rewards of regular stuff, but they maybe have rewards that then allow them to actually catch the rare ones. And the difference between common and rare is rare ones can be evolved and they can access these modes of gameplay that have kind of the in-game yield. Yeah. So the free-to-play players can still get the characters and they can still play against each other. So that whole loop's there, but there's also huge incentive as well to actually like spend money because you want to access these higher tiers of gameplay, and you'd only be able to get the base ones as common that you can't earn. There'll be like no basic functions of the other ones. Plus, there's no chance of them being like gold or shiny or holographic. Yeah. So it still kind of keeps the sanctity of the paid alluvial market intact, while also giving them a good way to progress and still be able to collect this stuff. So yeah, that's just something like I've been thinking about a little bit. It's like, what is a good way to do it based off what we know about the infrastructure of the game? But I think, again, as you say, the game needs to go in beta. We need to test it. We need to make sure that this like free-to-play experience is really good and that anybody can jump in and have fun, and really feel like they have a sense of meaning, progression. But there's also this huge incentive to like spend money and trade and play the market and get really involved and want to, collect that full collection of tier 5s and level everything up, because that's where the best rewards are going to be if people really want to make that money and kind of get the crazy experiences there.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, and at the same time with those ideas, you also got to like balance it out with the fact that you don't want to dilute the market and devalue everyone's assets at the same time. So I think it's going to be one of those things that's really interesting to watch as the game comes out, where we go, like how the market settles as well. Like, because that's another thing, like you don't know, like for your travel and shard curing, like you'd hope the market settles that you'd at least make your money back if you traveled, caught an alluvial and sold it. But you don't actually know that that's going to be the case. It's all a market. So we've just got to see how it settles. So I think the best way to do it is just like, just get the game out, we're in an open beta and iterate based on what we find out, because there's too many unknowns that you like. Even they probably won't be able to calculate until the game's out and the market settles, because the market is the market, and like you can't predict exactly what's going to happen and how people are going to value things. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting one to watch on how it all falls into place, basically.
No, I definitely agree. As you said, again, we're kind of just speculating based off what we know so far. But yeah, I want to see, like, I think they're doing such a good job so far, and I think the project has infinite amounts of potential. But I just really want to see Illuvium be kind of that game that breaks the meta. Because like one thing I just constantly hear about Axie Infinity is like, oh, the game, it looks shit and it costs $1,000 to start up. And I guess we are, in Illuvium, we're going to have that no barrier to entry, but also if it's just a very underwhelming experience, then the gaming market's a tough one, because people talk and spread information quite fast, and there are so many people doing YouTube videos nowadays, and so many people talking about projects. So it's just, I don't know, it's going to be interesting once Illuvium gets out of the masses to see how the experience is, and how, what are the pros and cons, and what are the big red flags for people, and, how can we look at making those red flags disappear, and just,
100%.
make the ecosystem as fair as possible.
And when you mentioned about the Axie thing, to me, the Axie thing as well, it's like we talk about Axie's market cap, but like, to be fair, for the people that get into Axie under a scholarship, it is free to play and they're just making money without any risk. But then,
True.
But it just I feel like it just drives a very unwelcoming community when everything you go to is just scholarship please, scholarship please, scholarship please, and it's just like it's such an absolute drainer trying to filter through all that shit. So it's like and I think this is where we need to, like you said, like Axie's the proof of concept. It's like cool, that's cool, it does what it does, it's blobs, whatever. But a game that can actually let people just play it free to play and have fun, but then transition into earning capacity, is where it's really going to be. And the other thing is, like, I think Axie also sets this precedent that, like, play to earn, you have to be earning truckloads of, like, you have to have a set income from playing the game. Whereas I actually like the Illuvium way, where it's like, no, you go travel, you face RNG. If you get lucky, you can make a bag. If you don't, you might not make a profit. And if you get good at the game and you compete in competitions, you can make a massive bag. If you suck, well, you suck.
I love that as well, just because it's what is it? Yeah, I think you and me, to a certain extent, we both had that those previous years where we've been obsessed with, like, Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's just the whole thing of, like, the ecosystem is very similar to being set up very similar to that of, like, okay, everything's opening a pack of cards, and then you've got to collect all the best cards, the best NFTs, to assemble the best deck, and then you can compete in these what are probably going to be absolutely ridiculous competitions where there are millions of dollars on the line. Pardon me, sorry.
And just on that, because now, like, we tried to balance out this podcast and give, like, some, some non-straight hopium. But now that you go back onto that, like, man, these esports tournaments, like, if it happens the way that they plan it, holy shit, I am so excited about that whole thing. The whole stadium, getting a virtual pass to watch the battles. Like, I think it's going to be epic. If it, like, everything's under a bit of an if cloud, but holy shit, the plans that they have look epic. And I'm just hoping that the people who get the tier 5s are actually passionate about it and, like, put some good effort into their stadiums, so that we can actually get some really good, like, I don't know, I don't even know what I want to see, but I just want to see some cool stuff built from these tier 5 land plots. Like, it's just
I
so
don't
much
know
opportunity.
what control they have over it, man. But I'm very, very interested. The whole thing, it feels so unreal, like it could never happen. But I think before we know it, it's gonna be fight night. We'll see. I'm hoping to get a little bit good, but I don't know if I'll be good enough to We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be good enough either, but we'll see what happens. Anything's possible.
I am a sweaty tryhard,
100%.
You're lucky you didn't have to go against me and my hero.
Dude, you didn't watch my Taiwanese version stuff, dude.
You were too busy hiding on the Taiwanese version.
I was the king. Don't worry. In a game without ping, I 100% win. I mean, being in Australia, I'm at a disadvantage all the time because of ping, but I've got you.
Yeah,
we'll have to set up. We'll have to set up a big exhibition match. I don't know, like a month after launch or something. Whenever they open up PvP, because they won't open up PvP straight away, I don't think. But
fair enough.
But then we can test it out. But yeah, 100%. If they get like as soon as like the is it the Illuviary that's like their Pokedex? Because the Illuvidex is a marketplace. The Illuvidex is as soon as they release all of them, man, the hours of sweaty tryhard theory crafting I'm gonna do is gonna be ridiculous. And now I know I can't share it with you, so that's all right. We'll just see who wins.
No, we can win together, bro.
No. We're all gonna make it is a lie. For me to win, you are gonna lose. That's all there is to it.
This is a zero-sum game. This is a squid game. One of us takes the bag. One of us is declaring bankruptcy.
It's gonna be brilliant. But just on that, already I'm having a lot of fun just thinking about strategy in the game, even though we have a very limited. I've been looking back through all the concept when they do like the little concept pages in the leaks, how they have like the ultimate abilities. For instance, like the water buffalo, like the fully evolved version, it like taunts all enemies and puts thorns up to poison enemies and stuff like that. Like there's going to be like a lot of cool, like just different variations. And that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing is like, not only the variation in team composition, but like also like just simple placements and like how the meta turns out on like what placements are going to be. And I feel like it's going to be varied enough that we won't have like one set meta, which I know that you always fall, like most of these games you fall into a set meta, but I also feel like there's enough variability inside the options that you have where, you've got the energy deployment cost as well. Obviously, your advantages, disadvantages, all that sort of stuff. I feel like it could be really interesting to watch the meta evolve. And I feel like it'll be rapidly changing as well. So like it won't sit on a meta for long. And then obviously with governance, interested to see how often they balance. Because that's another thing that we haven't spoken about is balancing PvP in a play to earn game where you do a balance instead of now your hero shit. Oh, well, build another hero. It's now you've lost money because that thing is less valuable because it's no longer meta. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh God, I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be messy because there are going to be like votes put forward. Like, let's say, make the water buffalo god tier. He's absolutely rubbish or something like that. And then everyone's like, oh, this vote has gone forward. And they just start buying up the market. But they're also going to be like scenarios where, what is it? Either it goes through, either it doesn't go through and all these people have bought up all the water buffaloes and they're like, oh, well, this character's still worthless. And then they lose a load of money. Or the buff goes through and it's maybe very underwhelming. What I've learned from playing heavily developed mobile games for the last 6 years is that whatever looks good on paper is sometimes a bit different in reality. You see it with like every Hearthstone expansion. If you watch a prediction video, then about 50% of cards or characters they're completely wrong about. Even some of the best players still. So it just is one of those things of like, we're just going to have to see. It's going to be a very interesting, dynamic market. Again, you're going to have to like place your bets, try and figure out stuff. But I think a lot is going to change a lot rapidly. I don't think it's going to be like the ultimate degen market, I think, because there's no sort of assurance in terms of, what's going to be really good and what you're going to get. But yeah, I'm very, very excited for it. I think it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, and I'm also so curious to see how the governance will actually work on things like balance changes, whether it'll be like, okay, we get to decide like when the balancing should happen. Like, does it then come into a like governance decision of what gets balanced, like numbers that get adjusted? Like how deep will they go on that? Like I have no idea. Like, to me, you've almost got to leave it in the hands of, and I don't want to say that, but like you've almost got, like, because you can't have a whole group of hundreds of thousands of people voting on what number this multiplier gets increased to. Like, I just don't think it works. So
yeah, I think
and this
like
whole
council.
this whole thing, and this is another thing for me, is like the whole idea of decentralization is good to an extent, but there's also got to be something that can stabilize. Do you know what I mean? Like fully decentralized is definitely years and years away, because you've always got to have like at the moment, like if Illuvium was fully decentralized and like the developers didn't have a little bit of control, like nothing happens. You know what I mean? So really curious to see how that actually pans out. I might have to ask them about that, like with like iterations and balancing patches. How deep does the governance go?
I think it's definitely something that it's just going to be a bit interesting moving forward. They're also going to need to give people like plenty of time to adjust to these changes. But I think the people that understand the game the most and really have their pulse on the core of the combat and just go super sweaty tryhards, I think probably both of us. We should be all right, but who knows, man? Like games are a very complicated thing, and there are so many dynamics involved. So hopefully, during the closed and open betas, there can just be a lot of good balancing done. I watched your podcast with or your interview with Aaron, and it seems like they've got a really good system for kind of balancing everything out and pulling metrics and basically just being able to infinitely calculate all possible scenarios. So hopefully it's a really, really well-balanced game.
Yeah, 100%. And with that, just because you touched on it, I'm super excited because like with those little leaks that we got, the panning out like over the characters, like, and that's like the in-game graphics. Like obviously it's rendered off its tits, but the fact that they're going to have that system. I don't know if it's going to be implemented straight from the start where every player can do it, but their battles are going to be stored as a text file. So tiny as fuck. So you don't actually need much space to store them, so that you'll be able to use that text file to render in high quality the battle that you just did. So like if you have a really cool battle and you want to present it really nicely, you can then re-render it and have that detachable camera and do all that. Like,
so awesome, man.
Like I just think that sort of stuff, especially for us with content, I feel like you could do some really fun stuff like that. Like I'm looking forward to, like, I don't know if you played Halo. Did you play Halo?
I did not, unfortunately.
They had this series of Red versus Blue, where it's like they used in game and then they panned cameras and they just like made skits based on it. But I'm just like the detachable camera thing. It's like you could make, like, I can see people making some funny sort of clips and stuff like that with different camera angles on replays, and I just think it's like opens up a world of fun for the community somewhere down the road.
Yeah, dude, that's actually got me thinking about all the cool stuff that can be done potentially. But I'm looking forward for like playbacks and stuff, and like analyzing plays and kind of that deep sweaty tryhard stuff of being like, okay, this happened, but if we played that slightly differently, drop that later, repositioned it, it's going to have be such an incredible tool for just playback analysis. Really, I'm very excited for it.
100%. And like I said earlier, just getting in and seeing all the abilities of all the characters, and then you can start theory crafting. Like, you don't know what the past, like, oh man, my mind just blows, because I love the theory crafting behind, maybe if I put my tank at the very back, let my guys who maybe have a passive where if they get low, they deal increased damage, that timing of my tank running up and taking the aggro gets them within their extra damage range so that then they can nuke harder. Like, and it's just like all those sorts of things, which that isn't a character. That's just something I just made up off the top of my head because I know it's in other games. But it's like those type of things just get me so excited for the actual gameplay.
No, I get what you mean, especially with the ultimates as well. It's like, maybe you want to have like just a throwaway Illuvial on the front line just to take a little bit of a beating that's really cheap, just to buy that like second or two so that your big tier 5 Illuvial can get off their ultimate and kind of just wipe.
Yeah.
Before like backline finishes up, maybe somebody in the back or something. But yeah, there's a crazy amount of strategy, dude.
And
I'm very excited for it.
And like, what's your view? Because I don't think we've actually spoken about this before. Just your general view on the auto battler type system. Because like I've played auto battling games for ages, but
I
like,
love it. I personally,
yeah. Was that?
it has to be done right. But I'm such a big fan. Again, one of my favorite things to play, literally for the last year, has been Hearthstone Battlegrounds. Like whenever I just want to like kill a little bit of time,
Yeah.
it's so much fun. And that's like an auto battler card game. I think it's going to be very different to how Illuvium plays, but I love high strategy auto battlers.
Yeah.
Because I don't get any satisfaction personally from shooting games, like either fighting games that have like deeper levels of strategy, and strategy games are the ones that really, really interest me.
Yeah.
And it's the more strategy, the better, really.
Plus throwing the addictive nature of Pokemon and trying to catch shinies and holos and shit.
Oh
and
yeah,
it's just
100%.
It's just GG. But anything else you want to cover before we close off?
I don't think we have anything left to talk about unless there's anything you want to make.
I think that's about it. Sick. Cool. Well, that was this one. It was a long time between. As always, if you guys have anything you want us to cover or talk about, let us know. But oh man, I'm just so excited. This trailer, it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. We just need like a trailer circle jerking podcast. Like, look at the shot, man! It's just beautiful.
Anyway,
yes.
Satan's gonna go off and look at Bitcoin charts now, and we'll see him in about a week.
I was literally just about to do that.
What's that?
I don't know yet. I closed it for this podcast.
Anyway, you guys don't get to know where it's at when we find out, but you can always look at the. Where is it at?
64,200.
64.2. Hey.
Oh my god, dude. We're like $200 from all-time high. No.
Anyway, guys, that is going to be this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and we'll look forward to seeing the next one.
Take care.